Hello there in the internet land. How's everybody doing? My looks like microphone is on. I am talking. I'm here. You're there. Let's do something fun. All right. Okie dokie. So let me get two more things situated. So we're coming back and we're going to hopefully finish or nearly finish the TRS-80 MC-10 schematic tonight. See how this goes. Hey, Jack, good to see you. All right, let me get the KiCad open. Come down here. Yep, that's me. Okay, this is where we were last time. So just to point out, I am using KiCad 8. If you're not aware, it came out. And if you haven't heard enough from me yet, I did post a video, which are my 8 top features. I was careful to say like words like favorite or best because they're not necessarily. Some of them are, but anyway, that's out. I'll link that again at the end of the stream too if you haven't seen it. It's about a 6-minute video. So, okay, where are we at? Oh, actually, this is kind of set up from when I recorded the video, because I didn't know. Actually, right before I recorded, I didn't realize there was well, I had heard there was this search thing, and I didn't know what it was, and so I played around with it. And then there's this net navigator, which is kind of pointless on a schematic like this one, because there's only one page. In fact, I'm going to close that. I think I'm going to close this one too, because I don't know that it does anything useful. And I hate to say that, but I haven't quite figured out. At first, I thought it would be really nice because I thought you could edit stuff, but you can't. It's just kind of there. So I feel like it's one of these kinds of features that somebody finally took the time to implement. And then it's like, okay, well, now that we have it, people are going to tell us how they want to use it. Or it's like somebody might have had like, well, a big idea for what they wanted to do with it, but didn't have time to go that far. So it's like, okay, let's just get it in there and then worry about this other stuff later. Speaking of worrying about other stuff later, you know where we're going to start off? What's going on here? We're going to start off in this section of this schematic, because I can just see there's a bunch of things in here. So let's just get that done now, because that's not going to be fun. So, hey, Francois, great to see you. I'm just taking a break from my little apparently open SCAD project. So right before the stream, I was checking to see if my lid is going to work. And yeah, everything's actually working really well in my little enclosure. I'm very excited. Okie dokie. Let's get to the going. I am going to close the properties panel as well. Well, shoot, I would really like to keep that open. Maybe I can just try to make it small. Maybe I'll make that schematic a little smaller, because there we go. The thing that's really, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, but the thing that's really funny is when I work on KiCad or I do code for videos, I always have to drop my resolution back down to 1920 by 1080, just so that everything scales and looks okay when it's recorded. And it's so frustrating because I have to reset my windows all the time. And I occasionally I'll get a troll that will say, "Oh, you can't see. Oh, you have to make everything big." It's like, yeah, I'm making it big for you. Like, what? How is that an insult to me? It's like, geez. Okay, how many of these are there? It looks like there's at least 3. All right. And we'll put this one roughly around here. Okay. ASCII art export to KiCad. Oh, that would be a really funny April Fool's. Okay, actually, first, I think it'd be a funny April Fool's joke to announce an ASCII export plugin. However, there is something like that out there. That actually somebody made something. I remember this now. KiCad ASCII art export. Not export. Would it be converter? Sorry. I remember there was somebody came up with something. Maybe this is what I'm thinking of. This is what I'm thinking of. Okay, it's totally not that. Yeah, this is no. This is newer than what I was thinking of. But oh, maybe this. Oh, you know what? Maybe this is what I'm thinking of. There was something that would generate the diagrams. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking of. Okay. This looks like this program takes and does the pinouts for the Arduino boards, which is pretty cool by itself. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of that, and I'm thinking of whatever this program was, AA Circuit. Although this post makes me think this is newer than what I remember. Anyway, okay. That was fun. Let's get back to work. Anyway, I think that would be funny to actually have a export option. I think fundamentally making something to do it wouldn't be that difficult, but I think there's a whole lot of gotchas to how you handle things. And so I don't think you would end up with anything that's practical. It might be something that's kind of funny and cool and neat, but like the practicality of doing something like that is just not there. So if you guys remember when we were doing this 2 weeks ago, I was on RC2 back then. I was doing something with the property manager that caused a crash, and I've been able to get it to happen again, but I can't replicate it. I don't know what there's like some kind of funky state that Schematic gets in, and then it becomes unstable, but I can't figure out how to get it there. It's just like all of a sudden I'll realize like what actually happened is I thought there was a bug with that search panel, and it turned out I had just gotten into some kind of unstable state. And I don't know. It's frustrating because I want to report a bug, but I don't have anything to report. Let's just do that. Also, well, you know what? I take that. I take back what I was about to say. I was about to actually say, oh, that's not where that goes. I was about to say there's really no value in an ASCII exporter, but it would be kind of nice to have, like, for simple circuits, it would be nice to have like on like, on a GitHub page or something in the README, instead of doing an image. It would be nice. I don't know. I'm not. Okay, I don't want to totally take credit for this, but in release candidate 1, I commented that in the properties manager that that the visible property wasn't available, and now it's there. So I'm very excited about that. Small victories. It was funny over on the Element 14 community. Somebody was asking about KiCad 8 versus Eagle, which I feel like is always a endless thing. And somebody just made the comment. They're like, oh, no. Okay, I'm thinking of a different conversation. Actually, on my video, I think somebody was trying to be a troll and say something about how they didn't care that KiCad 8 had new features. They just want something with more bug fixes. And I was just kind of laughing because it was like there were 900 closed commits for version 8. Now, some of those I didn't go back and look. They may not have been closed with a commit. They may have been closed because they're duplicates or not going to do or whatever. But there's a pretty healthy amount of bugs that got fixed in version 8. Not to mention that the KiCad team releases a minor update about once a month. Maybe it's more fair to say every 6 weeks. And so it's like, okay, sure, if you want to be a jerk and say, oh, well, who cares that there's a new version, I want no bugs or whatever. It's like, compared to every other ECAD tool out there, nobody is responding to bug fixes as fast as the KiCad team is right now. I mean, it's just crazy. So yeah, good job on those guys. I mean, I don't know. I sort of, in some ways, I've become such a KiCad fanboy, and I can't really figure out why, because it's just a tool, right? So like, what is it about it? But it's just something about a tool that's created by passionate people who understand not only like how to do good good software, but they're very passionate about the software that they're working on, and they're very knowledgeable about the software they're working on. You know, it's like, I don't know, it's just something about it just really gets me. So, okay, that's enough of that. That's a story nobody asked about. So I've been working on a Element 14 video. It's on the, well, actually, I think next week a new one comes out, and I'm really excited about this one. It's something I have wanted to do for a long time, so I'm glad it finally happened. And then the one I'm working on right now is the RF board that we designed a couple of months ago. Turns out I can't use the microcontroller I had planned to use. Doesn't have enough RAM to do a TCP/IP stack. So, spoiler, I'm going to make a joke about how this is my first RF design and it doesn't work. But as far as I can tell, the RF side is actually okay. I'm only getting about 9 dB in the 2 frequency bands, but given everything else about it, I think that's actually probably going to would be okay if I could use the board. You know, minor things. Yeah, I spent 3 days in a row learning about Zephyr, the NRF SDK. I got examples working just fine on the development board. I moved them to a Seed Studio SHAO, which that alone took me about a day to get to the point where it would compile. And the very first error I got, or not first, because I had lots of errors to this point, but after the linker ran, the first thing it says is RAM exhaustion. I was like, wait a minute, what? It's like, come again? That's not good. Hey, Bellum, it's been a while. Good to see you again. Hey, Unknown, you as well. PCB, you can go to the net panel on the right, click and highlight it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You mean like in there's like the objects list or something, and you mean like the actual nets themselves? I think that's what you mean. I think that was a version 6 enhancement. Yeah, actually, so I did want to point this out. So it's funny because a couple of people in the comments for my KiCad 8 video commented on something that they like. What was it? The way that you select stuff. Somebody's like, oh well, you know, except that's not new in KiCad 8. That was in there in 7, and it was like, well, actually. And I hate doing this, but well, actually, I never said it was new. There were multiple things I showed in that video that were not new to 8. But it's like, when else can I show these quick little tips without making a 4-minute video to show something that takes 20 seconds, right? I mean, but it's funny because there's been a couple of things where people are like, oh, I'm so glad they did this. And it's like, yeah, that's not new. Which is still cool. I get it, because if you're not, I mean, the only reason I think I noticed a lot of those things is because I'm always looking for them. Like when 7 came out, I wrote a Hackster article. I might have wrote one for when 6 came out. I don't remember though. I don't think I did, because maybe I did for 6. I think in 5 I did a Bald Engineer post. And then I did the video for 8. So, you know, I'm consciously looking for what is new. So I get why people don't notice all the time. But also, I think that's still cool because, you know, it is like a lot of sophisticated tools. Most people don't use most of it. You know, it's probably on the order of like 20 to 40% of the actual features available are probably what get used. Oh, ouch. You know, another one that here, let me I'm going to show something really quick just because we're talking about since you brought up something that wasn't connected. There is something in the DRC report that I ignored for years. So you know how you'll get to a point where you'll be like, I have unrouted. There's one rat left, and it's like you cannot find it. No matter how hard you try, you just cannot find where it's at. I was going to open up a big board. Just to really make this point. Right? So like, say you have this board and it's like, if you had one unrouted net, how would you find it? And you know, sometimes when you're looking at it, it's just like, you're not going to see it. It's really hard to find. And I used to do things like I would turn off all the copper layers, or there's stuff you can kind of do somewhere over here, but dumb me, all this time, if this doesn't pass DRC, I'm going to be very upset. I shouldn't have done that. This takes like 20 seconds. Oh my God. Why did I do this? I should have done this while I was ranting and raving. So there's an unconnected items tab, right, in the DRC. And so if you just do a zoom in and then click on it, it will take you to where the rat is. So it's like all these tricks I was doing to try and find where's the unconnected net. There's a tab that tells you exactly where they're at. You just have to go and click on it. And then the only other trick to know there is that you sort of, if you have to zoom in, otherwise you won't see it. But you know, it's right there. So anyway, speaking of unconnected things, quick tip. Anyway, the code size is on the order of a few kilobytes, and RAM can be configured to be as low as a few hundred bytes. Yeah, well. So what's really frustrating is, so the actual problem I'm running into is the stack and the SDK requires WPA, and WPA requires at least 130K of heap. If I give it less than that, it won't initialize correctly. And if I give it more than that, then there's not enough. Then I'm literally at like 1 or 2% of RAM left over. And so sometimes the microcontroller won't boot. And so it's just like, oh. And what I realized is Nordic does say the NRF52, which has 200, the big one has 256K of RAM. They're really clever about how they say it, because the microcontroller does work with their Wi-Fi chip. However, they don't say what you can do with it. And then my next clue was you can't use Bluetooth low energy and the Wi-Fi chip at the same time. And it's like, wait a minute. So then what can you do? Because about the only thing I can find is you can scan access points, but you can't compile in enough code to be able to connect to one. So I really feel like this is one of those cases where technically it works with that microcontroller, but not if you want to do anything useful with it. Now, maybe it's just because I don't understand Zephyr well enough and I can't optimize the code, but I was just kind of like, wait a minute, this is annoying. It'd be cool to have that feature. Oh wait, it's already there. Yeah, that's actually, there was somebody said something about how, well, it would be nice if KiCad had a way to mass edit text objects in PCB. I was like, well, it does. You can use the edit text tool, or you can just change the selection filter to text only, highlight all the text things. It's like, I don't understand why you're saying it needs to have that, because it does. Which, again, I guess I just said the opposite of what I said earlier. It's like, but in that case, I can tell it's somebody trying to be a troll. They just want to say, oh, this won't work for me because reason. Which is, I hate people like that. I try really hard not to be that person, but I probably am sometimes. I feel like I changed these already. This one I didn't do. Oh, I forgot to change. Oh, let's see if this is going to work. Can I select all three of these symbols? Oh, actually unknown. I saw you say that you learned about the dragging difference. Glad that helped. That was a behavior that I noticed it a long time ago, like a really long time ago. I could tell something was going on when I was highlighting stuff, to the extent that the behavior of highlighting, I noticed it was like, I just noticed it wasn't always the same. And then I came across like a forum post or something where somebody had mentioned how there were two different models. And then after that, that's when I realized that the color of the highlight is different. Like when you go this way, it's purple. And if you go the other way, oh, wait. Okay, I thought the highlight was different. The outline of the highlight is different. So if you go to the right, the outline is yellow, like a yellow gold color. And if you go to the left, it's a bluish purple color. And that was when I'm like, okay, something is definitely going on here. And then I spent a little bit of time trying to figure out what it was. And then I think I figured out that AutoCAD has the same thing. Like I started noticing that it actually works the same way in other programs. And so it's not even like it's a KiCad thing. It's just kind of a common CAD thing. It's like, well, gosh, that's funny. It may not be AutoCAD, but there's something else that I used where I'm like, hey, that's what KiCad does. Ah, that's what's going on. Okay, hold on. I changed this in the property manager. And then I went and I'm just going to copy and paste this. I'm not going to. Yeah, see that? I lost that one too. And then I clicked on this. Oh, so what the heck? So can I reproduce this? So copy, paste. No. All right. And then what if it's something related to copy pasting, I think. Notice how that reverted back to R. I'm just going to make this 99. Nope. Yeah, see? So sometimes things are getting reverted for some reason. Now, can I figure out a way to make it reproducible? So now what I want to try is I'm going to close KiCad and see if it keeps doing it. The icon is different too. I'll pay more attention this time. So when you go this way, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I wish I would have noticed that for the video. Because you can totally see it. Like there, the dot is inside the square, meaning it has to show up entirely inside. And if you go this way, the dot is on the line, which means it can be partially, right? Because this will highlight, this will grab, actually it'll grab the wires, the wires and the resistor, and then the text labels. Whereas this will only get the resistor, well, in the text, but I didn't even notice that. Man, I wish I'd noticed that. That would have been good to highlight or point out. Oh well, I'll point it out next time. Okay, so if I change this, and click on this, click on this, click on the, no, I think it's when you click on the symbol. Okay, so this was supposed to be R17. And it seemed like I did a copy paste. Yeah, there it is. I wonder if it does it every time. I should have named the stream bug hunting. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to change this to R150. And then I'm going to copy, paste this, and then click on that. Huh. All right. Let me do a let me go copy the state of this project real quick. Really? Where did I put this file? It's in something or other. Projects. Preserved. Okay, I'm going to grab, I'll just grab the whole folder. Let's just do 7-zip, add to archive. That works. And then I'll mess with that later. All right. Include it next year with version 9. Oh, yeah. I was actually thinking if I keep doing the same thing for the thumbnail, when they get to version 11, I'll have to Photoshop in an extra finger. Or maybe I'll just Photoshop it like in my hand or something. Okay. So, well, that's kind of an annoying bug because it keeps messing up my things. So maybe we won't use the property manager then. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to use the property manager because there's definitely something broken there. Well, we'll see if we run into it again. Start using toes? Yeah. No. I can promise you I will never have a thumbnail that includes feet. The internet is just too weird. I don't care, but I don't like the way people react to feet. It's just weird. Okay. All right. So then those are all going to go somewhere over there. So this schematic thinks. For now, what we're going to do is, didn't I name these already? Maybe not. I thought I did. Yeah, I think I did down here. I sure did. All right, so we're just gonna grab these. Then we're gonna come back over here. I'm gonna put the labels over here. All right, so let's come up here. So this is this one. And then this comes out, it looks like this comes out to here maybe? You know what I'm gonna end up doing is, let's just move this over here. Okay, that's weird. Okay. That was not a good way to do that. All right, so we got that over there. And then this is going to be CD, M to move that. And then let's just see, how far do we have to move everything to line stuff up? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, and then down here is CN. Let's do something like that. Yeah, don't feed the trolls. Yeah, they just get weird real fast. It's just and that's why it's like I said, to me it feet don't bother me. They don't do anything for me. It just doesn't matter. Yeah, but for those that it does, it's like, ooh, really? Oh my. Okay. I'm looking for question marks. We'll catch them on DRC or ERC. I just thought now would be a good time to. There's one. Ah, nope. Bad James. That is a bad bald engineer. All right. So I think that looks pretty good. I see 56K and all I can think is modem. All right. Then that's a pull up. And that's pulled up with a, I guess just a filtering cap. Okay. Now we'll go do this part of the circuit. So this looks like it's got a 741. Wonder what 741C means. So I realized, ooh, yeah, there it is. So there is something in 8 that I am absolutely not a fan of. Oh, actually, I could show it. Yeah, I'll show it. I can show it in the schematic. The development team is apparently getting rid of the footprint browser. And I think that is a terrible choice because the newer, I don't know when this came about, if it was 8 or not, the chooser is terrible. So right now in 8, if you go to look at a footprint, so if you do add footprint in PCB, or you use the footprint shortcut in symbol properties, which is what I recommend for assigning footprints, you come to a new dialog called Footprint Chooser, which is modeled after the symbol chooser. And I hate this dialog because if you type in like resistor, you end up with everything. Or if you're like, oh, well, what about an 0402 resistor? It's like, okay, well, then you end up with this mess of stuff, right? Also, you can't do any measurements on the footprint, and you can't do the 3D view. You can't verify the 3D view. This is different than how it used to be, because in the footprint browser, which is what used to show up, you had a lot more capability. What are you doing? Go away. No, you're the wrong window. What? Wait a minute. I thought they got rid of this in 7 or whatever. I guess I just don't add footprints that often. Because if I come back into here, yeah, okay, there it is. So this is the footprint browser, and this is to me a far better dialog, because it's like, okay, first you get rid of the libraries that don't matter, so that automatically makes things easier to understand. And then over here you start to narrow down the footprints that matter. So here we only have like 5 things that show up, and then you can come in here and say, oh, okay, well, I'll do it for this. I'll say, well, what if I wanted to find a dip package? And it's like, okay, but is this the right one? Wait, I got ahead of myself. Is this the right one? Well, you used to be able to come in here and just say, okay, well, let's see. If I hit space bar, then right down here, right next to my shoulder, there's a DX and DY cursor. It's like, okay, so from here to here is 9.27 millimeters. Okay, that's not quite the right package that I'm looking for. So let me try this one or this one. And it's like, okay, now I can do that real quick. And then you can also have the 3D viewer available too. So it's like, okay, this is what I'm thinking of. You know, it's like, it's a very powerful dialogue, and they're getting rid of it. You can get to it from view, but it's going to go away. And I don't get it. I just think it's dumb. So I think the only reason they're going towards the chooser route is to make it more in line with and in parity with the schematic browser. But I would have preferred if the schematic chooser worked like the browser. The only usability thing I agree with is that there's 2 different filter boxes, but I think that results in that gets you better results. Having it all as one filter box and then things are parented and hierarchied, I really don't care for the way like this works. Like, I'm looking for a 741, and I actually missed it when I was looking at this because all this other garbage came up. Like, why couldn't I filter, like have a filter where I can actually, I don't know, does this work? Maybe I should check before I get too bent out of shape. Yeah. Like, how do I filter and say I only care about op amps and then something that has a 741? I just think this. Okay, I'm going to move on. I don't like that user experience, and I hate that it's getting more pervasive instead of going away. I stand by the comment I said on the forum, which is with all the amazing stuff that happened in 8, it's understandable that there's at least one really terrible decision that's happening. I think the browser model with the 2 columns is a far superior user interface. Yes, I understand that the first time somebody uses it, it's a little more confusing, but I think it's terrible. You know, and in fairness, the team did say, okay, we'll put in a feature request and all that. And I think a lot of the features that were in the browser will get implemented into the chooser. But that's my other issue is if that's the case, then why push the change? Why push it now? Get those changes in place and then introduce it. I just don't feel like it's solving a problem. I think it. Anyway. Okay, I'm calm. I'm good. I'm going to have to take a break and go get a beer. Oh, really? 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 Okay, well, I'm just going to edit this symbol in situ. Make those not visible. And then we're going to put them inside of here so they don't accidentally get lines. All right. And then I need to move this and this. All right. And then if you guys didn't catch it, so there is this new tool. If I click on the, can you do it from here? I don't think you can do it from there. No. So if I click on the symbol and then go to tools and compare, we can see that several of the pins have changed. And then there's a visual tool to tell you, like, this is what the original library looked like, and this is what our part looks like now. And I think that's a slight preview for what's going to happen when they get integration working. Yeah, I just feel like what they're going to end up doing is re-implementing the dialogue they already have. Like that's I think why I'm frustrated, because the chooser dialogue, I don't like it. It's kind of like I can't figure out why this footprint assignment dialogue. Oh, I can't open it because I have to annotate. The footprint assignment dialogue, I think, is another dialogue that they should just get rid of it. It's the symbol fields table. Well, it used to be better because it used the footprint browser, but now it uses the stupid chooser. Yeah. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, these are all problems that are totally solvable, and you know, they probably all require a little bit of conversation to understand, which in itself is not a conversation you would typically be able to get to have with pretty much anyone else. All right. I'm not sure how I want to do this connector yet. But we're not there anyway. So let's... Hey, there's R1. It's all the way over here for some reason. Okay. Actually, when I said you don't get to have that conversation with other vendors, it made me think of a time when I was an application engineer. When I worked at Agilent, I supported logic analyzers, and we had a customer that was like over half of that entire division's business, and it was not a small division. And so in general, if one of their engineers asked for something, we would be able to get it implemented. But we were working on a new platform, and marketing decided we should get rid of a feature, and it was actually a feature which I really liked. It was called the target control port. It was basically 8 GPIOs on the back of a $150,000 logic analyzer that would let you reset a target or measure its VCC or something like that. I mean, it was basically like today it would be like if you just hung an Arduino off the back of a test tool. And so it was decided that feature would get removed, and I was very vocal and said, I think this is a bad idea. I like it. I think it's a good feature. Our key customer likes it. They don't want it to go away either. And I was told, okay, good feedback, thanks. And then we had an event where the key customer was talking to the same marketing person that I had been dealing with. And so my guy, he's like, the target control port is one of the most used things in our lab. We need it on the next version of the product. And the marketing person's like, oh, really? Okay. We'll make it happen then. And I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah, unconnected tab in DRC. Yeah, right. I think that's one of those things that you just kind of overlook. You just don't even. Well, and I think what happens is one of the first times you run ERC, you're usually not done, and so it's just not a useful dialogue. So. Yeah, I feel like everything related to zones, everybody blames on bugs. And it's like I've been bitten by that myself, where I'm like, oh, DRC is wrong. It just doesn't know what it's talking about. And it was like I had two zones overlapping each other. And it was, in fact, DRC was telling me that I had two zones overlapping each other, and I was telling it that it was wrong. So I learned that lesson. It turns out that's one of those lessons you only need to learn one time, and then it doesn't happen again. Oh, this is way down here. So wait, this pin 1 goes to a ferrite bead 4, which then goes to D5. So this is wrong. D4 goes to ferrite bead 3. So I'm like totally doing this wrong. And then 4. Oh, that is 4. That's why I'm offset. I didn't realize that. Okay. That's what I did. Oh, I see it now. Okay. So 1, and then 3 is going to be ground. DIN 4. I don't know if these are actually DIN connectors. What computer was this? This is the MC-10. Okay, they're close enough. I'm going to call them DIN. That's just going to work. That actually gets us really close to what that looks like. And then this is going to connect to 3. Nope. Wrong. This is going to connect to 3. And then this is going to come down here. And that will come up to here. And then this is going to become J2. And this will be serial something. Serial IO. Okay, I wonder if we're going to be able to get that onto the page or if I'm going to have to move. Oh, I can just move everything over. There. All right. I'm actually going to close the property panel because I keep wanting to use it, and I'm kind of disappointed that it's broken. It's broken. Okay. Now the cassette port is a 5-pin, so let's go ahead and add that. DIN 5. Yeah, I guess zones can be a little, okay, that's fair. Zones are a little bit trickier. The way that that errors get reported are not always as clear as I think they could be. Okay, so let's edit this one and make it match this. So this should be 2. And then next to that, so this should be 4. And this should be 5. So that this can be, wait. Nope, this is 1. Because it should go 1, 4, 2, 5, 3, 5, and 3. All right. Nope. Let's save that. And we got 1, 3, 5, 2, 4. Okay, that works. All right. And this is going to be J1. And this is going to be cassette IO. All right, and then we need a ferrite bead on 5. Probably going to need to move this down. Ooh, did you see that? That's what I showed in the video. I accidentally hit the N as in not a good idea hotkey, and a little pop-up showed me that I was changing the grid. Isn't that nice? I'm really happy about that. Okay, after dogging on the whole chooser footprint dialog thing that is still wrong and one day I hope gets fixed, I really liked how the team approached the grid problem, because I think everybody, myself included, were all like, just turn that hotkey off. Don't let that be turned on by default, right? Just do that, and then people won't have the problem with changing the grid unexpectedly. And I think instead, I'm glad the team didn't just bow down, or not bow down. That's not what I want to say. Just I'm glad they didn't just do that, because I like this little pop-up that happens now. That's really helpful. And I think the whole idea of a grid override is fantastic. It's a good example of a case where I know there are going to be people that are going to be annoyed by it, but it's like you can just turn it off, and the vast number of people will be happy with the way it works, just the way it is. Like most people aren't going to care, and it's going to prevent a lot of problems. So it's like, to me, that's like a win. That's the way you approach things. It's like, okay, how do we implement this in a way that solves the problem, but also improves the experience? So I'm actually really excited about that, because I never changed the only time I want to change the grid in Schematic anyway is when I move text labels, and now it's sort of like the default behavior, so I'm good with it. And just in case if you didn't see the video or you haven't seen this yet, if you go to Schematic setup, I'll show you the best way to do this. So like I said, so when you hit N now, there's a grid pop-up. Now this assumes your hotkey is turned on, which, if you import settings where it was turned off, then that won't work anymore. You have to go turn it back on. But if we go to, I'm going to right click on the toolbar for the grids, edit grids. And in here, there are overrides now. So regardless of what you set your grid to, like in my case, or the defaults, wires will always be on a 50 mil grid, and text will always be on a 10 mil grid. So even if I put this to 10 mil and then try to draw a wire, I'm still locked to a wider grid. But if I go and move text, it's a much finer grid. It can basically go anywhere, which is great. It just solves the problem. And if you don't like it, turn it off. But I think that would be silly. Especially for like wires. Wait a minute. That was suspicious. I feel like that was off the grid. Wait a minute. Let's do this one, this one, this one, this one. And then I'm going to copy and paste both of these to come over here, except then they got to move. Let's move them like this. And bring them here. 24K. This is a 2.2 nanofarad, which I guess I can write like that. Although I feel like that's really weird. Actually, what I would rather... No, it'd be 2000 picofarad, right? Yeah, it'd be 2200 picofarad. Those were huge quality of life changes. Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah, that's why I that was actually why I wanted to make a video is I I was going through, I should show the list because I didn't cover everything I want to cover at all. But I was going through the issues list and I came across that and I'm like, wait a minute. And the issue was like, it was like something like the commit or the close was something like fixed off grid problem or something. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? And then I started reading it. And one of the first comments from one of the developers was, we are not going to get rid of the hotkey. And I was like, oh boy, I'm going to start some internet drama with this. And then as I read through the issue, it's like, oh, no. They're like, there's got to be a better way. I was like, that is like such the right way to do it. And then I found a couple of other issues where it was like, I'm like, this is actually, I mean, one of the hidden or the ulterior motives I had was to kind of demonstrate, like I get most people, they go to the forum, which isn't actually run by anyone on KiCad, right? But they go to the forum to talk about bug reports and feature requests, and that's not how the development team manages the to-do list, so to speak. It's all through GitLab issues. And so what's awesome about that is like you go in and it's like, oh, now I can see why things were done. Like there's rationale behind it, or it's like what was it like before it changed, and that kind of thing. And when you get that context, things just make a lot more sense. And yeah, I get it. Oh, I shouldn't have to go through that. Okay, maybe you shouldn't, but that's one of the benefits of being an open source program is, they're not going to document every single little thing because it's documented in the GitLab issues. Like that's why it's there. Okay, is that the RCS9 out? Yes. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to draw this into there. Okay, I would really like it to be right here, which means I need to move everything else. I would rather these be, maybe we'll move them a little farther closer to the thing because they're probably over by the connector anyway. I just like to be a little bit clearer. And then I'm going to copy this label down here so that it's very clear what that is. So anyway, that was a story nobody asked about. R11. Oh, yeah, we were talking about the grid thing. That's what we were talking about. Okay. And then I did mention this one in the video, but I'll bring it up here, is like if you edit, so like if we create a label, I'll just create a label and do it. Nope, that's text. What is it? I don't know which button it is. It's L. I know if you press L, that creates a label. The label, and I showed it in PCB, but it works in Schematic as well. The label drop down, it's actually a drop down. And so like if you're not sure how you spelled something, like, oh, I got something in there named Baldy. Okay, great. But if you weren't sure what the spelling of something was, you don't even have to guess, right? You can just kind of look for it. Or it's like, okay, do the drop down. It's like, what is RS232? That's one of those things that I almost wish it was a little more obvious that that's a drop down, because then I think it would help prevent people from creating labels that are slight misspellings or capitalizations. Okay, so this 6.8K somehow goes up to here. That's what that looks like. So I wonder why ours is so far off. Okay, I guess I can move everything up. Let's see if I can do that. I'm going to save this. I've been saying mean things, so I was going to say the ghost, but that sounds weird. Ghost in the machine. All right. That gets me a little closer. I guess the other thing I could do too is I could probably drag all of this down, which then I can drag. That's not what I want to do. I wanted to grab this diode and that resistor and then drag these down, so I can drag this down, and then we'll drag that down, and then these can come down to be a little more in line with everything else. All right, and then let's drag all of this to here. All right, there we go. That actually cleans it up quite a bit. Makes it a little bit nicer to look at. The rat's nest color is close to the back copper blue. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I would actually prefer. Once I found the unconnected tab, I didn't care about this anymore. But for a while, I wanted something that would make like rat's nest be super bright, like for when you had the last one available, like you were looking for the last one. But now that I know how to use them correctly, I'm not as worried about it. All right, so we do need to add. We don't have it in their schematic, but we need to add the unit with the power. Maybe it's E. Yep. I'm going to put it like right here. So this will be unit 15. V plus goes to, whoa, no, what are you doing? What the what? There we go. I don't know. I'm going to put it over here because it's clean. All right, so we need negative and positives. And then a capacitor. Where's the nearest one of those? Could probably just do like this. Oh. And that's going to be 20 and 100 nano. And I'm just going to move that like around here. That's kind of messy. Could do something like this. There we go. And then we'll put that over there. I like that. That works for me. Yep, MOSFET video. That's ironically how a lot of people know me despite being a capacitor person. I was applying for a job. It was a MOSFET product manager at well, company that sold MOSFETs, and the recruiter I talked to was a real piece of work. He had an attitude with me from as soon as he answered the call, and it was very off-putting. I was very irritated that he was acting the way that he was, and he said to me, "Well, I don't see any reason I should be talking to you. You don't know anything about semiconductors or actives. You're just a capacitor guy." And that's when I was triggered. You're just a capacitor guy. I was like, oh. So I said, I tell you what, dude, go to YouTube, type in MOSFET, and tell me what the first person you see, who the first person you see is. And so he does, and his response is, big deal. You paid to be placed in the top of the search results. Good for you. And I was like, I don't even, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And so at that point, I was ready just to hang up on the guy. And then we said a couple more things, and he said something else that just irritated the crap out of me. And I said, you know what, man, I'm just not interested in this job anymore. He's like, that's okay. I was never going to submit you anyway. Oh, and the thing is, I in retrospect, I wish I could have kept my cool, because I would have loved to have gotten to the hiring manager and been like, you realize that this guy is acting this way? Like, this is, I used to hire people. If I found out that my HR person was saying the things he was saying, I would have, he wouldn't have had a job anymore. There's just no other way around it. So anyway. Oh. Yeah, I actually have I've had a script for a follow-up to that MOSFET video for about 4 years now. I just have never gotten around to making it. I really, really, really want to address the fact that I drew the MOSFET symbol wrong. That was the first like massive mistake I made in a video, and it wasn't until, back then, like to get 1,000 views on a video was like still real new for me, and that video got 1,000 very quickly. And so if I had known it was going to get as much traction as it's had over the years, I would have actually re-uploaded it. I just, at the time, I thought, well, if I re-upload this, there's no way I'll ever get back to 1,000. So, but for those that don't know, I have a video where I explain how to use a MOSFET as a switch, and I explicitly said this is the symbol for an enhancement mode MOSFET, and the graphic is for depletion mode. And what happened, I'm so mad at myself that I let myself do this. So what happened is I was still getting used to how I was going to do the graphics. And so I didn't know if I would need both of the symbols. And so I actually animated like 4 MOSFET symbols, thinking that way I just have them done whether I need them or not. And I wasn't thinking when I went to do or add the animation into the video, I just grabbed the wrong one, and I wasn't even paying attention. And it wasn't until like someone said something, I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm looking at it, I was like, oh God, I cannot believe I just did that. Well, not just, but yeah, I was just like, and now every time I see it, I'm just like, that is the wrong symbol. That is the wrong symbol. Maybe I should just make that as a t-shirt. I should just do that symbol as a t-shirt. I didn't think about that. Maybe I will. Like with all my t-shirt ideas, absolutely nobody will get it except for me, but that's okay. All right. So I think this was the last major section. We have to do the modulator unit, which I'm not excited to do that at all. I'm not doing the keyboard matrix. I don't care about that. That's perfectly fine as graphic. I just don't see any value in that. Oh, I guess what I could do is I should draw this though, which is probably, is that a latch, or maybe that's their keyboard controller? Yeah, we should draw that because that looks like that's real. Okay, we'll at least do that. We'll do that now. MOSFET guy with a capacitor symbol. Yeah, just do the cap symbol with MOSFET guy. I like that one too. That's actually really good. I might do that. It might be one I do just for fun. So what is, let's go look this up real quick. What is a MC-10.0.3b? Yep. It's a hex inverting 3-state and buffer. That's great. That's so great. This, I wonder, well, why would it be on then? All right, so let's just do 14503. Nope. All right, we'll just create it. So let's go and let's save this. Let's go to, where is the button for symbol editor? And then I'm going to do a new symbol, no library. We need the MC-10. New symbol, and the name will be MC-10.5.038. Or is it, wait. What was it? It was, wow, we even get a data sheet for on Simi. That never happens. Let's go into the properties. Let's go grab the data sheet. And then the name. Hex non-inverting 3-state buffer. Keywords. Buffer. Okay. So then, how did they draw? So we'll do the, let's see, we got I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, output 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so we'll do this. We kind of did this the other day. We'll do it the same way. We're going to use the insert trick. So I'm going to just do pin number, which is I1. And I'm assuming it's output. Well, it's, or this is input, so that's easy. The output I'm going to assume is tri-statable. So now I'll hit insert to get 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then over here, we're going to do another pin. Again, I'm going to just assume for the moment that these are tri-statable because I see output enables. So that usually means they're tri-statable. And then we'll double check in the data sheet so we get this correct. And then I'll rotate that. And we'll put that there. And then I'll do 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we can do an input down here, which will be OA, OA, and we'll do OB. If you fillet a rectangle, it turns into, okay, did you try create selection from group to turn it back into a polygon? I don't want this one. Come on, come on, come on. So like if you do a quick rectangle, let's do it on silk so it defaults to something bigger. All right, so then let's make this like 1 mil. All right, and then if we right click and go modify, fillet, 5 millimeters. Now we got rounded corners. Oh yeah, I see. So they're segments, but if you right click, or I'm sorry, if you highlight them all and then do right click, create from selection, and then do create polygon from selection. I don't know what any of these things mean, and click OK. Now it should be a polygon that you can reshape. Oh, fail. Okay, never mind. Oh, I thought it would work. Can you do, if you grab, let's see, if you do, Huh. Polygon. I don't know if this is going to do it. Nope. That's a shame. Oh man, I thought I thought I was going to like be like, "Oh yeah, I got a perfect trick for you." No. All right. I guess it makes sense though, because it probably doesn't know how to convert the arc. It's probably the arc. It doesn't know what to do with the arc. You can try resizing in group and let me know. I'm going to guess no though. I think the problem is that it doesn't know how to handle that arc. So I mean, it's one of these, for me, or to me, it's one of these things where it's like, I'm glad to see. Why are these different colors? Ah, James. Pin name is I1. There we go. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I don't envy the development team on the on like basically the vector drawing stuff, because, you know, KiCad is not a vector drawing program, but it really needs those capabilities to be a little more useful. And so it's like, man, it's probably not the best use of their development effort, but they sort of have to do it because KiCad does need better vector tools. So, I mean, as do probably all ECADs, but I can't really speak to Altium. I've never used Altium, so. I think I installed it one time. I remember I installed it one time as a demo because I was going to give it a shot. I wanted to try it out. I wanted to see how it compared. I wanted to see what it was like. And I remembered I installed it while I was on a conference call. And then afterwards, my manager called me and I completely forgot that I had installed it. Like, he got me to work on something. He needed like a report or something by the end of the day because the world was going to end if they didn't know how many widgets were going to ship in the next 45 seconds. And so by the time so I completely forgot, right? And then a few days, like 2 days later, I get a phone call from an Altium sales rep, and it was like a terrible, like the guy's like, so I saw you downloaded Altium. I'm like, okay, yeah. He's like, and are you ready to get a license? I was like, no. I was like, I haven't had a chance to even try it yet. Really? It's been 3 days or whatever. I was like, yeah, I've been busy. I didn't get a chance to use it yet. Well, we have a lot of really happy customers. We'd be happy to send you a quote right now. I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, I'm not going to buy it. I haven't tried it yet. I don't, good for you. You can send a quote. What difference does that make to me? And so he sent me a quote, and it was like $4,995 for a single user license. I was like, okay. And so I was like, all right. So then I went to I went uninstall. Or what? No, what is it? It's remove program, right? Add remove. Yeah, add a remove program. And I uninstalled it. I was like, okay, I am good. And I'll bet somebody out there thought I was going to tell a story about when the Altium guy threatened to beat me up. See, I have multiple Altium stories. That guy was just a terrible salesperson. Like, I can deal with that. That's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with that. There we go. All right. So I was going to take a quick check to make sure that these pins are what I thought they are. I mean, they're pretty obvious, but if there's like a pin table, or actually we can just look at this. So the disables are active low, so I might go and change that. I don't know why they said the outputs on their symbol are active low. Maybe they're just trying to say that they are. I'll have to go back and look at that picture. Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're trying to say they're, or whatever. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. We will change the pin type to be a inverted so that that's a little more obvious. I'm changing this. I don't. There. Looks good to me. Yeah. It just converts to lines. So I feel like the fillet thing on the, it only does two corners. I feel like other programs do something like that too. So I wonder if there's like a common math algorithm that's used to come up with it. Oh, that's a great, I know exactly how much I'm not paying. Yeah, no, I mean, this was back when, I mean, I was looking at it, and this was probably in KiCad 4 days. And so I was actively looking to get rid of Eagle because I was tired of their BS and the way that they were doing licensing. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Yeah, these are not even. I remember now what the trigger was for me to try Altium. Eagle came out. It was before CADSoft sold to, I think before they sold to Element 14. CADSoft came out and was like, hey, we have simplified the Eagle licensing. We no longer have all these options and blah, blah, blah. It's very simple now. And then they had a 3x3 matrix of all of the license options. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You're not making anything simpler. It's like, and then I was like, you know what? I am done with Eagle. I'm just so done with it. And so I was like, I wanted to look at Altium and see what it looked like. And, I knew it was going to be expensive. But I thought they'd have like an option that's like $700 to $1,000 for like my situation, where it's like, I'm just I'm not a company. I'm in this context, I'm an individual. What can you do for me? And it's like, wow, no, you got one low price option, and it's half the price of a car. Okay. I mean, maybe it's worth it. I don't know. But, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to bother trying because I'm not spending that much. I remember even thinking at the time, I'm like, okay, KiCad's not my favorite thing to use, but I can buy a lot of stuff for $5,000 that will make me feel much better while I use it. And I'm not even talking like bad things. All right. All right, these look like this is a pretty straight. Yeah. Aw, did I get the wrong symbol? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I see. There's another. Oh, the shift signal, which goes way back over here. Okay. Okay. So we'll do this. Remember that thing I talked about? So I'm going to hit L for bus label, and I'm going to start typing SHIFT. And what do you know? That's the name of the net. That's useful. Who won the fight? Yeah, we agreed to just move on. Pay $5,000 a year to be incentivized to have a successful business. You know, I gotta say, if that's the way you're gonna do business, that there's probably more economical ways. I forgot to add power. This will be a power input. I mean, don't get me wrong. Autodesk is not my favorite company for several reasons, but granted, yeah, I'll just say they're not my favorite for several reasons, but at least up until now, they've continued to offer some kind of free tier for people that aren't necessarily making money off of the software. And, I don't know. That's probably not going to always be the case. I feel like we're getting near the end of that attitude, but for now, it's an option. And, and even that, it's like, okay, so that used to be if you made less than $100,000 a year using their software, or your business made less than $100,000 a year. So like if you're a consultant or like a freelance creator or whatever, like a freelancer, then you didn't have to pay. You could be part of the free tier, and there might have been some other restrictions too, but that basically that's what they're getting at. And that was a pretty generous option. Now granted, they've lowered that to $10,000, which fine, whatever, but it's still an option, right? And so part of why I do it is because like nothing I do without. Well, see, I gotta go reread the license now, because I feel like it used to be part of like one of the stipulations was if the work you're doing with it makes less than $100,000, and I have a feeling that might not be the case anymore. But still, we can debate whether, like I say, you may disagree with other aspects of them, but there's that option. But if I look at, Altium, soon to be Renaissance, there's only one option. So, oh, really, James, really? You're so worried about making your stupid little point that you are not paying attention to what you're doing. Good job. You feel better now? Yes. Okay. I don't know why I talk to myself so much. Okay. So I had to do all that because I realized there was supposed to be a capacitor up here somewhere, and there should be a ground over here. There. There. Happy night, Francois. Good to see you. If you're still here, thanks for the your comments regarding Eagle in the Discord today. I appreciate it, what you had to say. All right. Let's do a quick data bus. So let's do Q. Nope, always do it wrong. Let's do Z, rotate, and I'm just going to do it over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then let's do label D0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like I'm missing one. All right, let's see how this is going to line up. Bring this over here. Oh, I don't need 6. Duh. Okay. All right, so then we can bring these to here. Insert a bunch of times. Bring this up to here. Grab these. Nope, grab these. G that over to there. And we got a data bus connection. Actually, what we should do is grab all of these and G those back to about there. And that's a little cleaner. That green is terrible, but I think I did that on purpose for some reason. I go back and forth on how often I commit things when I'm working on real stuff. It kind of I get kind of caught up in the zone, right? So it's like I'm trying to solve a problem, and then I solve a problem, then I solve a problem. But I'm slowly teaching myself to like and this will sound dumb, but I'm slowly teaching myself to commit what I'm working on before making changes. Like in the past, I would make huge changes and then be like, oh yeah, I should commit this, right? And I'm trying to get better about, I'm going to change directions and do the commit then, so that it's like, okay, I might want to roll back to this point, or at least if I'm looking in the history, I can think about where was I at in the process, so I can figure out where I introduced a problem. I don't know. I've said this before. For me, the problem is I've never had any kind of formal training on source control and stuff like that. And so I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, so this goes back to... Yeah, it goes to this, which looks like this must be the output enables for the keyboard decoder. Oh, there's something else that drives. Okay, that's what I'm missing. Okay. Okay, so the rows go into this buffer, and then there's something else that drives the columns. Although KR makes me think this is keyboard row, so row, column, it doesn't really matter. So how do I want to... I almost want to do this different and draw and move this thing we just drew into the middle of the schematic. So basically move everything else over, because it doesn't, so I'm not going to redraw that graphic. There's no point in that. Or should I put it over here? I'm going to see, because if I can put this over here somehow, keep these off the page for the moment. Yeah, YouTube's chat is terrible. I don't get it. But you have to understand, you know, Google doesn't have a lot of money and it's kind of a startup, so there's not a lot of okay, so the reason, because what I was thinking I can do here is I can go con 01 by 08 generic, rotate, nope, do this, and this becomes J5. Right? And then I can do this over here, because how do I want to do this then? I1 is 1. Yeah, okay. And then 7. So basically I want these to come. I'm going to go to right there. So can we get something like this? What did I mess up? 7 goes to 6. 5, 4, 3, 2. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Oh, 3 is missing. Oh, well, that's stupid. That is very dumb. There. All right. So that's going to be J4. And I'm going to add a text. Keyboard matrix not represented. Although I wonder if we could just do, I wonder if I should add it as a bitmap. I'll think about that. I don't think I want to, though. I really don't like the idea of adding stuff like that, but yeah. Okay. Oh, then we still have to connect the data bus somehow. But I see, that's why I wanted to do this, because then it's like, oh, we can just go like this. And now that's connected. Like, I really feel like that makes a lot more sense to draw it this way. And then what's going on here? Is there a way to, maybe what I should do is bring this down and bring this up. Nice. Go home, KiCad, you're drunk. All right, and then I don't know why that address bus is headed over there. I think that was a, yeah, actually, yeah, because I'm going to do that different. All right, well, that's an oh, but then I still have to figure out what to do with this signal. Which I really didn't want to do something like this. I hate this kind of thing. I just feel like that's like so messy. I really don't like that, but I got one more thing I'm trying to fix over here. All right, okay, it's the text that's throwing me off. So this is now U14. That looks a lot better. That's true. But I think there's still some kind of best practice around what are the types of activities that you should do a commit for. Oh, see, now we could do this. I'm not super excited about this, but that starts to look a little... Well, then why didn't we just come out this way? I mean, that's how it was drawn, so that's why. But still. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right. I think that's going to be our stopping point. I really thought we were going to get done, but I thought we only had the modulator left. So we still have to do the expansion connector and the modulator. That's it. Okay. Well, we should be able to knock that out next week and then spend some time on ERC and getting everything cleaned up. But that is, I think we're almost there, which is pretty exciting. Yeah, I didn't want to do the modulator, but it's got the system clock, so I figure we might as well. So we'll do that. We'll do that section. Oh, and the power supply. We got to do that too. So yeah, we should be able to knock those two sections out and then the expansion connector. And then, yeah, we'll be in pretty good shape. One self-contained change. Yeah. Whatever that means. Okay. It sort of reminds me of, so when my friend was explaining to you how to use Git, and which I'm really glad she did. She was very patient with me. She made that comment, like you should have small changes, something that is a self-contained change. Good phrase. I'm like, well, what is that? And it's like, until you use it for a while, you don't know what it is. And I kind of think of it as, it's kind of like comments in code. Until you write code for a while, you're not going to understand what a good comment is. Because like one thing I hated when I was in school, and I assume this is still the case, is teachers will say something dumb like, oh, make sure you add good comments. It's like, okay, but what's a good comment? I don't know what a good until you have something that breaks, you're not going to understand what a good comment is, right? Because then you're gonna be like, I wish I wish I said something like this, and that's when you start to learn. And it's just to me, it's sort of the same thing. It's like, oh, you should be using a certain amount of size for a get, okay, or a commit. It's like, okay, but until my strategy fails, I'm not going to understand what that means. Oh, this is something else I want to fix. What's going on here? All right. Just curious what... Oh, so we still have annotations that are... Oh, yeah, there they are. Okay. I'm not going to worry about it then. All right. That's a good point. Cool. We can ignore that. I got to figure out how I'm going to... I want to replicate that bug. Why are you locked up? What are you doing? All right. Complete it. Keyboard interface. Serial I/O and cassette port. There we go. Okay. Push, changes, commit. All right. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, here is the latest Add-ons video. I believe next Wednesday is going to be a new Workbench Wednesdays. And then, we'll see how that goes. And then I'm planning to stream next Thursday as well. How can there be... Oh, that was the history. Oh, there's that. I still have to figure that out. So, yeah. In the meantime, what is this? This is a source tree. I don't have any comments about it. It was just what was shown to me to... if you're talking about the source control program, it's source tree. That's what my friend that taught me how to use Git, this is what she used for in her job. And so this is what she taught me to use. So anyway, all right. And then of course, if, I was going to show that. Oh, I'll show this real quick. I have super secret feature turned on in my version of KiCad 8, where you can actually do commits and other version control activities. Isn't that fancy? All right, guys. I'll see you next week. Please, please take the time to find something that you enjoy doing and do it. And then once you've done it, share it with other people. All right, I'll catch you later.